Welcome back to Studio F. We're on Fast Times Willy B. We'll continue through the Halloween franchise with Halloween 2. Gentlemen, let's broaden our minds.
Russ Man.
Welcome back to Fast Times Willy B. I'm Willy B. I've got Kory with me, and we continue through the Halloween franchise. We'll move now to 1981 with Halloween 2, directed by Rick Rosenthal. Now, don't worry, John Carpenter was on the production team, so we didn't lose all hope from him. But
No, and he did direct some of the scenes towards the end.
But Rick Rosenthal is the credited director for this one.
Yes.
Cast-wise, a lot of the same. We've got Donald Pleasance, we've got Jamie Lee Curtis. And then Lance Guest, I have to give a shout out to him just because he's in Jaws 4.
Apparently he's a very nice guy, too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, the beard did a lot for him in Jaws 4.
Boy.
But
Yeah.
we'll start with the good. And this one, obviously, is a very solid sequel. We'll start with that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because in this time period of movies, the sequel wasn't always very good.
No.
So this was, when you're talking about some of the best sequels, you could put this in that category. It's a continuation of the first night, which I do enjoy that.
Yeah.
We get a little flashback start with the shooting, and the matter of fact it was, and him looking over the balcony, and then it just goes into the night.
Yeah.
And Jamie Lee Curtis is obviously lugged off to the hospital, and Loomis is still on the hunt. Michael leaving the house, I love what we get after that because we get a really cool shot with the L rods. I found out their name today. I could never remember it for the life of me, but I made sure to remember it for this. The L rods.
Like
when the husband's like sleeping in the chair and the wife standing behind him and Michael standing behind her.
Yeah.
That shot from like almost the TV's perspective.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah, that is very, that feels very Halloween 2018. I think that whenever they did that, like the upgrade scene, that's what I like to call it.
Yeah.
I think it took
It's like my favorite
inspiration
scene in
from that
2018.
scene. Oh, for sure.
Yeah. And so we get that, and then obviously, the teen neighbor comes to check on them, gets the phone call, and that's when you get the similar shot as 2018. I love that the jump scare, stabbed in the chest, and the blood split. This is the first time you really see blood in the Halloween franchise.
Yes. Yeah. Because again, they ramped it up quickly after the last one.
Yeah. So I thought that was a really cool scene. And then from there, it's basically the hospital. That's all we get we get the Tramer killed. We'll get into that. I'm not putting that necessarily in the good. But
I kind of do. I want to because it's funny, but yeah.
That's why you'll see where I put
We'll
it.
put
yeah. But so we're at the hospital now, and you pointed out a good detail to me that it was a skeleton crew because they're kind of transitioning to a new hospital, which is really good because they blow this one up. But
yeah, boy, they couldn't have gotten luckier.
Yeah. No kidding. But man, I never loved the hospital setting because I always loved the outside bouncing between houses part of Haddonfield.
Yeah,
but I don't.
Yes,
I do like it.
I think what makes it being outside better that the hospital kind of misses is that even though whenever you're outside it's the middle of night, it makes sense people wouldn't be out and about, but there are still people around.
Yeah.
If you really want to throw in some extra characters for some extra kills or extra tension or whatever. In the hospital, like, there has to be, like, nobody.
Yeah.
Even if there's a fluctuation of patients or whatever, they're going to have to get more staff.
Yeah.
Which, it just doesn't work on that way. So it is kind of a weird pendulum for that.
Yeah.
But I actually do like the hospital setting.
I like it. It's just definitely a peg down from the setting of the first film.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, dudes, my favorite shot in the first one, which I guess I probably should have explained in the last one, is the scene where Tommy Doyle looks out the window and he sees Michael carrying Annie. Like, something about that distance is perfect and terrifying.
Yeah. Yeah, this one, it's still cool, though. I agree with they amped up the kills. We get some pretty baller kills in this film if you're a fan of kills. Obviously,
pretty creative.
The therapy tub kill is pretty insane. Then both syringe kills.
The syringe, yeah, but yep.
With, and then the tube letting somebody's entire blood
just drip feed
supply out.
Yeah,
like there's a lot of unique kills,
and then there's one accidental one, which is fun. There's
just a lot of cool ways that they connected to the hospital setting too. So that's where I think the hospital setting is cool, is the kills we get.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm gonna ask you the same thing I asked you in the first one. What's your favorite kill in the second one?
I mean, I'm kind of a fan of the drip feed, the drip IV thing, only because like you have to do that so gingerly.
Yeah,
like you can't do that aggressively.
Yeah.
So I guess maybe that, but really my favorite kill might be, if we're not doing like counting Looney Tunes kills, I guess would be whenever the cop goes to check on Michael
and he gets the scalpel to the throat.
Yeah, only because like. I mean, the whole point of the scene, you just want to scream at that cop, like, "Move, dumbass!"
Yeah, he's not dead.
Yeah.
Mine was always between the drip supply and the therapy tub.
Yeah.
Burn, drown. That would be a horrible way to go.
Oh my god.
Do you die first from burns, or do you die first from drowning? Like,
I don't. It wasn't a question I had till now because I just assumed burn. But good point.
Yeah.
I guess. I mean, he does bring her back up for air.
Yeah, that's torture
screams.
right there. That's torture right there.
Yeah.
It's probably definitely the burns.
Not to mention, like, dude, your eyeballs are in there. That's everything.
Yeah.
Ugh.
What a horrible way to go.
Yeah, fair.
We just
fair.
both did a jinx on, like, unusual sounds. Oof. Like at the same time.
Just in sync.
Yeah, man. They definitely upped the ante on the kills, though. But no, I think it's a cool continuation. I think they connect it well to the first movie. Obviously, I mean, it's taking place the same night, so that's always an easier route to probably go to connect things. But...
And I would put in the good. It maybe wasn't the greatest route to go, but the retcon, I can't ever say that I ever even dislike it.
Yeah.
Even if it wasn't the way to go, I still kind of like it.
Yeah.
The explanation for it's never been great, but
yeah.
I think it's making them siblings. I mean,
yeah, sure.
I
think it's unique. There's a scene we get after that I'll talk about later.
Yes. In
the sibling stuff. But I was never bothered by the whole sibling thing. I mean, before I watched these movies, I think I knew. So the first movie they never talk about it. I'm like, oh, maybe I was just imagining that. And then it's brought up in the second one, and that's when you're like, oh, okay.
See, I had a similar experience where I knew they were siblings because I watched the fourth and fifth one.
Yeah.
And I guess the second one, and I had seen like most or all of the reboot stuff with Rob Zombie. So I knew they were related. So when I went back and watched the first one, I was more than ever, I just spent the whole time being like, when are they going to bring up the sibling thing?
Yeah.
Like, this doesn't even make sense. They don't even have the same last name.
Yeah.
And then whenever I watched the second one, I was like, I got to do some research.
Yeah.
So
they definitely don't hide it in Rob Zombies. But
no. See, that's kind of the only nice thing about rebooting the franchise is if you're going that route, you can now plan for it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
but no, I never that never hindered my watch experience by any means.
Yeah,
I thought it was a cool little throw in. We get some fun chase scenes throughout the hospital with Michael and Laurie too.
Yeah. Yeah.
That just, is a continuation again of that night. What a night for Laurie.
Boy, that's a shitty night.
And then I always really liked Lance Guest's character, Jimmy.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
Well, it's because he's the only like pure of heart character other than Laurie in these movies.
He's just like, he's charming. He's bringing her the Coke. He's helping in any way he can. And then he unfortunately meets. I assume his demise. I guess we don't really know.
They've never even really explained.
In the TV cut, he's in the back of the ambulance with Laurie.
He survived.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But in theatrical and any other cut you have.
See, this is a Superman 2 situation. Because in that movie, Superman just straight up kills Zod and the rest of the Kryptonians. Yeah. But in the TV version, they made it to where they like get thrown down a cavern and then they go to jail.
Yeah.
Or whatever. I don't know. I mean, obviously it's for TV like MA purposes or whatever.
I also only know that because I watched a TV cut today.
Did you watch the TV cut?
I didn't feel like paying for it because I've seen it so many times, but I just kind of did a refresher. So I watched the TV cut on
probably
YouTube.
Didn't help, dude.
I watched the TV cut on YouTube, and the ambulance, I'm like, what the fuck is Jimmy doing there? Like,
Yeah, TV cut, no shot.
so then I had to
with
like do
that.
research. I'm like, is my whole life a lie? I'm like, no, okay, he does pass out and honk the horn, and
Yeah.
which is much better.
Yeah. He
like I said, I
probably
love
should
his
survive.
character, but I love like when he passes out due to the concussion or head trauma or whatever he has going on after he slips in the blood and falls.
Yeah.
I love that it honks the horn and like shows where they're at. You know.
Yeah, I think that's pretty cool and intense that he's getting ready to start the car and and I in my headcanon, I always just kind of considered him to be dead. I think mostly just because, as mean as it sounds, it's just funnier that way if he just died from being a dumbass.
Yeah.
But like, it does make more sense that he would survive because him being Jamie's father. I mean, that's kind of a cool story. Your mom and dad, they met because of an awful thing, and it's kind of poetic more than anything. Yeah, because it still ties into the Michael thing. But yeah, that is very strange. If you think about it, if he died in that means Lori in one night would have lost her like two great high school loves: Jimmy the ambulance guy and Ben Tramer, who was gonna ask her to prom or whatever, but got hit by a ambulance that hates him or something.
Got pinned between a cop car and an ambulance.
Yeah. We have more to say about that later.
Yeah. Continuing with the good, I like the third act a lot.
I do too.
The final showdown, like obviously we get the cop kill that you were talking about, but the final showdown, 2v1 style, which is really cool. Lori and Loomis taking on Michael. I always liked that scene in that room where his eyes get shot out. He's blindly swinging and the blood's pouring from the eyes. I always thought that stuff was really cool.
Me too.
And it's so funny because I told you the other day, I was like, well, every time I watch Halloween 2 and he's swinging and you can hear Jamie Lee Curtis making noises like, I think it's, when I was younger, I thought it was Michael making those noises when he swung. I'm like, why is he squealing?
Oh, that would be such a great cut to watch him going.
But then
I mean, I would if I got shot in the eyes.
Yeah, I mean, for sure. But then you get the gas and the explosion, and then Michael walking out, which is so cool.
That's cool. I've always been a big fan of I know you can tell it's coming from his forehead, but the blood coming from his eyes.
Yeah.
I genuinely have always thought that was a good shot. What I always liked about it is it reminds me of like. I can't think of the movie. It's an older movie. It doesn't matter. But it just looks like a movie from like the 30s or the 40s or whatever. Like a real Roman Polanski, hate you, film where it's like a woman crying when he looks up and it's like, Papa, can you hear me? Like it's so
pulling that from Deadpool.
I know. Yeah, fair enough.
No, I get that same feeling though.
Yeah.
I love the blood tears from the mask. Some cool shots with
Joan of Arc. That's the movie I was thinking of. Keep going.
And yeah, I like it a lot. I always thought it was funny though. Like he got shot in the eyes and like can't see, but those two bullets definitely would have also went through his brain. Like
I know, and I mean you can still see the eyes.
Yeah.
It's not like the bullets went through his eyes.
Yeah.
So maybe they should have done a Madam Web and a firework goes by his eyes instead.
That's fair. But I wouldn't say love, but I do really enjoy the third act.
Yeah. I wouldn't say I love it, but I definitely don't even met it. I still like it.
Yeah. And then it's a good thing they got a new hospital coming because Loomis had no remorse for that old one.
Christ on a bike. And I mean, that's one of the best things about it too, is the ending does feel pretty solidified as an ending. Obviously it was meant to be. There were behind the scenes reasons why that wasn't, yada yada yada. Made too much money. That's how Hollywood works. Yeah. But I think the teaming up of Loomis and Lori, I mean, it genuinely fucks with me every time I watch these movies when it hits me that, oh my god, they have like two scenes together. The end of the first one and the end of the second one, and that's it.
Yeah.
But it seems like they've been friends for years.
For real.
That's the only scenes they'll ever have. Oh my god.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's wild.
I don't know why that just.
I'm so sorry.
Bless you. But you got anything else for the good?
I know it's not as cool as a knife. I've never hated Michael Myers with a stethoscope. That's what that little knife's called, right? Stethoscope.
The scalpel.
That's what I meant. The stethoscope's the thing that you used to check. Cool.
I was like, I miss a
Everyone
kill
who
where he
watches
stabs somebody
these-
with a stethoscope.
You know what?
Damn TV cut. It's like,
I hate to say it, but I hope this
missed the
channel.
stethoscope kill.
I hate to say it, but I hope this channel never does good because anybody who watches it is gonna think I'm a fucking dumbass after the last couple reviews I've had. Yeah, the scalpel's not as effective as the kitchen knife, but
Dude, I always liked like the pick up the nerves. Yeah,
I always
it shows his strength.
that is one of my favorite kills
Yeah,
in the entire franchise. I don't know why him picking her up with a stethoscope. That's great.
yeah.
But I will
Are you
say,
gonna hold on to the
did I just say stethoscope again?
Yeah.
Fuck!
I thought at first it was a joke, and I was like, no, he's full going.
Scalpel. I didn't graduate college. But it's fuck it. It was good. I like it.
It was good. Once again, I would also put the atmosphere. It does feel very fall, especially when you're outside. Cinematography and acting, I think, took a step up.
I think so too. I think acting is better.
I think Lance Guest was great. I think Jamie Lee.
I think Jamie Lee is much better.
Yeah, and then Donald Pleasance also delivers another great performance.
Absolutely. And I think there is cinematography. I always forget to bring that up. There's good cinematography, and there's good directing in it too. Yeah. Like the scene where Michael hears the guy with the boombox. I've always thought that was a really well directed, kind of Wonder situation.
Yeah. And starts heading towards the hospital.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's a cool scene. But we can hop over to the meh.
Yeah.
This is where I put Ben Tramer's. Because I agree, it's funny.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, why was that cop going 60 down a residential road, getting a kid between an ambulance?
And he doesn't even say anything to anyone. It's like the scene in The Other Guys when Will Ferrell steps on the pedal and screams America.
And they find out it's not Michael, and they're like, oh, well.
Yeah.
they just killed a 17-year-old boy.
Yeah, and the one cop's just like, I think that was him.
I think that was Ben Tramer. Yeah.
No one even said, like, hey, it's a guy with a William Shatner mask and a fucking, mechanic outfit. Also, why the fuck was anybody else in the exact same outfit as Michael Myers anyway?
Well, if you look close, I don't think the mask is painted, and I think the hair is blonde. Like, I think it was an actual William Shatner mask.
Yeah.
But I don't get the mechanics.
But the mechanics stuff, that's what I'm saying. He had to a T.
Yeah.
He should have just been wearing, like, a
Captain Kirk, yeah.
Captain Kirk outfit, and they're like, I'm going to kill this Captain Kirk kid.
Yeah.
Must have been a Star Wars
fan.
So,
I definitely put Ben Tramer in the meh, because I don't hate it, because it makes me laugh, but it's definitely not good.
I'm going to put Jimmy's death right above that, because that's the same situation for me. Or if he dies.
Yeah.
Just because I like it because it's funny, but it is kind of ridiculous.
Yeah, but the concussion adds some elements that I enjoy.
That's true. Yeah, maybe I'll stick in good. You're right.
Sticking with the meh. This was, and I love Dick Warlock.
Yeah.
But this was never my favorite Michael.
It's always
there's a lot of scenes in the hospital where it's very robotic movement.
He's probably my least favorite Michael.
I was gonna say when he's in action, great. But when he's walking in the chase scenes, it's like very like.
Which, and a lot of that, you can't really put on him. You probably have to put towards Rick Rosenthal.
For sure.
He is the director.
Yeah, he could have said, nah, go back.
Exactly.
For sure. So I don't put it all, that's what I mean. I love Dick Warlock. I'm not putting it all on him by any means. But this was never my favorite Michael when it came to the chase scenes.
Yeah, there's a way to walk slow but still feel like you're pushing with urgently.
Because I love him when he's swinging and holding his eyes. Like, I think, it's just when he's, like, in just the walking state. I'm like, gosh, I don't love it.
It's something about, I think it's because people loved so much the slow walk that, again, they accentuated it in the next movie. And it just isn't the same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. What else I have in the meh?
There's something I'm sitting on that I don't know if I should put in meh or bad.
See, I had the hospital skeleton crew, but it's hard to knock something if they're in a transitional phase.
For sure, absolutely.
I still feel like there'd be at least one more patient, but
yeah, that's fair.
I get it.
I should have put this in the good, but I do love whenever Loomis yells, "Lonnie, get your ass out of that house," or whatever he says.
Yeah,
I always thought that was great. But yeah, I mean, a lot of this movie does kind of sit in the. Not a lot. Most of it I would put in the good.
Yeah, I would agree. It's a pretty solid sequel.
There's definitely a couple meh things just because it just doesn't feel... I love that it is the same night, but I have to like put something, my feelings about it in the meh because it is... The first one's just so good and iconic. Just making a you know, a predecessor to that is just
Well, and Jamie.
tough.
God, I keep saying Jamie. I mean, I'm not wrong, but Lori
Yeah.
being in like a sleep state for a lot of it too doesn't help.
That's a bummer because she really got better at acting for sure.
Yeah, and then I would also put in the meta the dream she has after we find out they're siblings. She has a little like dream sequence where she like sees Michael as a kid and she's a kid and she's, don't hurt me, Michael, and I'm like, but she wouldn't know. So I never loved that dream sequence.
Yeah.
It probably belongs in the bad, but I do think it's a cool like well shot dream sequence.
Yeah, it's kind of cool. If they had done it like in a cooler way, like maybe like with Sleepaway Camp, where you get some of the like the dreamy, feely flashback stuff with like, you know, the reveal, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Like maybe something a little more like that or something. But also just the fact that those hints were never really planted in the first place is kind of what makes it kind of strung along.
That's probably it for me. I don't have anything in the bad.
I do have something in the bad.
Well, maybe I'll agree with you. Maybe I'm missing something. We'll hop over to the bad.
I'm going to put the...
What do you got?
This is both meh and bad. I'm going to put the score in meh because I think it's okay.
Oh, I like the score.
I think it's okay. But I'm going to put the main theme kind of in the bad. Only because...
Really?
Not because it's terrible, but because the changes they made to the score make it infinitely inferior to the first. They should have literally just left the score.
I don't think it's as good as the first one, but I kind of like the change.
I've never liked the change. It kind of has like a...
like an arcadey type feel to it.
Arcadey, synthy. It to me, it almost sounds like when you're watching like a kid's Halloween movie and there's like a skeleton piano or whatever.
That's fair.
That's kind of the feeling I get.
I don't know. I think I liked it because it felt very Halloween.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely still in there. That's why that's what I was talking about earlier when I was like, I don't know if I should put this meh or bad, but it just doesn't hit this. I think for me, Michael Myers or the Halloween theme, I guess. It always was at its best whenever you had a really raw, real sounding piano.
Yeah.
And this one just never, ever, ever did it for me.
Fair. That's fair.
And I've just never liked it. It's always been my least favorite of the Halloween themes across, including Rob Zombie's. Like, it's my least favorite.
I would probably agree with that, but I love all of them, so that's not saying much. I like all of them.
I was going to say I like them all, yes.
There's definitely a few I love. The original I love. Mm-hmm. We're going to talk about a movie next where I love the score.
Yes, for sure.
But we can hop over to our final thoughts and ratings. What do you want to leave off with Halloween 2, and what do you give it out of 10?
I mean, overall, making a sequel to this movie is, regardless, it's never going to be, you know, the first one.
Yeah.
And I think as far as, you know, doing the best you can to do word for word from Rick Rosenthal himself, a John Carpenter imitation, it lives up to that, I think. I think if you weren't, like, us about this kind of movie stuff and whatever, you wouldn't really know the difference.
Yeah.
And I think in spirit, it captured most of that good enough. So that's the best I would say about the movie. I would say good enough.
Yeah. What do you give it out of 10?
But on a scale, I guess I would, a 7 out of 10 always felt pretty right for me on this one.
I wonder how long we're going to go till we have a difference. I'm going to go 7 out of 10 as well. It's just a good movie. It's a good sequel.
I know we'll have a difference.
Probably. But I know it's not, like you said, it's not anything that will light the world on fire, but it's a serviceable sequel.
For sure.
I always have a good time watching it, except for watching the TV cut on February 26th.
Yeah, man. When you said that, I was like, oh, that explains a lot.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that didn't hurt my score much, but, like, I was definitely confused at the end because I thought I'd missed the ending my entire life. For a second, I was like, wait.
Have I fallen asleep for the same 2-minute sequence my entire life?
I was like, when does this happen? But
it's kind of like it's kind of like the Carl Weathers of Close Encounters of the Third Kind.
Yeah, I'm like, he's back. I also didn't know it was the TV cut till I finished the movie. I typed in Halloween 2 on YouTube because I didn't want to pay for it, and I watched it in 10 clips, 10-minute clips.
Really?
Yeah.
Boy,
it was pretty seamless. I'm not gonna lie.
Was it? Good
Whoever
transition?
did this did a great job.
Okay. Yeah.
But by the end of it, I was like, she definitely gets dunked in the tank longer. I'm like, maybe they should just cut that out for YouTube. And then he's alive at the end. I'm like, okay, this isn't the same
Yeah,
cut.
yeah.
There's little signs along the way, but
The best way I can describe a TV cut for especially like horror movies and whatever, it's like taking a really sharp knife and just it's still the same knife, but you just dull the blade a good bit. Yeah.
Which I get you. I was getting the signs that it was TV when a lot of the kills were cut short.
Yeah, you're like, oh, she gets lifted. There's that.
That'll do it for Halloween 2. Kory, thank you for coming on.
Always.
Thank you all for watching. If you like what you're watching, check out some other videos. Hit the subscribe button or follow the social links down below. We've got 3 through 6 coming next. Go check out 1 if you haven't already. But we'll talk to you all very soon. Peace.